Hello everybody. Okay, I'm back today. What I wanted to do was share with you a little bit of my experience of why I became vegan and why I'm choosing to stay that way. It all starts years ago. I used to be a big milk drinker. It grosses me out now to think about it, but I used to drink a lot of milk. A lot. Oh, wow, my stomach's actually starting to hurt thinking about it. But I drank a lot of milk and cheese and just dairy in general. A lot of dairy and a lot of meat. And then years later, I started eating a lot of pork as well. Lots of bacon, pork chops, pork steaks, pork ribs. Lots of pork ribs. And I was experiencing, and I've always had kind of a low resistance. I was always the kid in the house. There's 4 of us, and I would always be the first one that got sick, pass it around. It was just, I just always had a lower resistance than other people, and then I had allergies, hay fever and other things. So, just my resistance was just not good. So I experienced a lot of health problems. I experienced depression since I was a teenager. I didn't know I was depressed until later on when I got treated for it and I got better, and I thought back years prior to that, like, whoa, I've been feeling like that since I was like 13, 14 years old. So I've had this problem all this time. It had been 15, 20 years almost. Actually, it had been over 20 years when I first got treated for depression, since the first time I noticed, or when I thought back to, when I first started experiencing the problems. And that, honestly, I believe it was because I was taking antibiotics for acne, and antibiotics were doing things to me that doctors don't admit to. But if you do the research, you'll see that antibiotics kill the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria in your digestive tract, and you need that. That's where your immune system is seated, in your intestines. So if it's killing the good and the bad bacteria, then it's killing your immune system, as far as I'm concerned. But do your own research. It's not meant to be medical advice. You'll find similar information that antibiotics are doing things. And I believe that is what was causing my ill health problems. The fatigue, the depression, the constant sinus infections, the migraines, the skin problems, eczema, and random body pains. One doctor, actually 2 doctors, diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. One doctor thought that I had multiple sclerosis and wanted me to go get all these tests done for MS, and I said no. I've got fibroid tumors that have shrunk, but I used to have fibroid tumors that made my abdomen the size of being 5 months pregnant. This was about, I think the last ultrasound I got was about 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't go get the one last year. I didn't feel like it. But 5 months pregnant. And they have shrunk now, but it's not from any medication from the doctor. But how I became vegan was really by accident. I'd been vegetarian, or tried to go vegetarian, twice before in my life, and I only lasted about 3 months before I fell off. And so I did not intend to become vegan. It wasn't on the radar. It was only supposed to be a cleanse. I was working this job. I have a very stressful job, and the hours for the job are not the same every day. It's inconsistent. And so I wasn't able to get consistent sleep. My body is really, really sensitive to changes in the hours and changes in all that stuff. It messes up my whole sleep schedule, and my eating schedule. My whole body rhythm just gets all messed up. So I was on this team, and we were getting ready to switch teams to a new boss, and I had never worked for this boss before. She'd been there a long time. She used to be a counselor in my job, so she'd worked her way up to becoming a director, and she intimidated me a little bit because I had heard her yelling at her team before through the wall. I sat outside the conference room and I heard her yelling at them, and I never wanted to work on her team because I don't do yelling very well. I've been in yelling matches with 3 bosses before, so I'm not above getting down with you. but I'm non-confrontational. I don't like that mess, I don't like yelling. You don't need to elevate your voice. You can't. Yeah, it just was a problem for me, so I never wanted to be on her team. Well, this particular time, she had the schedule that I wanted. She had the most consistent schedule. The hours were the same every day. And I was like, oh, wow, the hours are the same every day except for, Fridays and Saturdays. I can dig that. So, it's like, what can I do to get my energy up and to be fresh for transitioning over to her new team? So I thought, bingo, I'll just do a cleanse. And so I got online and I started doing some research. And I had already been juicing. I had already been making green smoothies. So this wasn't stuff that was foreign to me. I'd been doing that for years. And I came across information about the raw food diet and the raw food cleanse. And I decided that I'm going to do a raw food cleanse for 5 days. All raw food, 5 days. Let's see how it goes. First couple of days I experienced healing crisis. So flu-like symptoms, body aches, runny nose, headache. I felt awful. But I kept going because I've been through healing crisis before when I fasted, did water fasting. And I thought, I'm just going to keep going because it's going to get better. Day 4, I felt pretty good. Day 5, I was feeling all right. I was like, okay, I feel more energetic. And I decided that day, I think I can go a couple more days and go a little bit deeper with this cleanse. So I'm going to go 2 more days, make it a 7-day raw food cleanse. I got through day 7, breeze, and I felt fantastic by day 7. And I thought, I'm going to go 10 days. Well, by the 10th day, when I woke up, my body felt different, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know right away. I went to work, and I was sitting there, and it's like a ton of bricks just hit me, like, my arthritis pain is gone. And I used to have arthritis pain in my knees and my elbows and my fingers and some of my toes. And the doctor had given me, high dosage of naproxen that did not work at all. And so I stopped taking it. And I just thought I was going to have to live with the pain. Well, 10 days on raw food, and the pain was gone. And so at that point, I said, oh, sookie now. I'm going to do 30 days. And so I decided to go 30 days on the raw food cleanse. And by the end of 30 days, I couldn't even believe how good I felt, how good I looked. I had lost a significant amount of weight. I had lost, by 60 days, I had lost about 17 pounds. And I was not counting calories. I wasn't doing any of that. I was just eating. When I was hungry, I ate. When I wasn't hungry, I stopped. Period. I wasn't watching what I ate. If it was a raw fruit or vegetable, I ate it. And I lost a lot of weight. And it started out as liquid smoothies. The first 5 days or I think even 7 days, I was doing mostly all liquid, and then I started adding fruit, whole fruit in, and eating salads instead of juicing and making smoothies out of everything. And so it was a lot easier when I added in the fruit, because then I satisfied that chewing sensation, and I stayed fuller longer than just doing the liquid. So I wasn't hungry at all when I started eating the actual fruit. And I just kept going. I didn't even think about it. The meat craving that I had was gone, and I used to eat a lot of meat, a lot of bacon, a lot of pork. I had pork 4 times a week, sometimes more. Chicken. Yeah, a lot of meat. So I never intended to go vegan because I love meat. I was addicted to it. And then when the meat craving went away, that's when I knew that this is going to be a journey for me that I'm going to stick with. And my health, it improved. And the tumors that I have, my doctor was recommending that I have a hysterectomy for the last 5 years. And I kept telling her, no, absolutely not. I'm not, no. You know, think something else, because that you're not doing that. And my tumors have shrunk. So my abdomen is no longer the size of being 5 months pregnant. It has shrunk. And the tumors are still, I can still feel the largest one, but it's a lot smaller than it was. And my stomach is a lot flatter than it was. So, you know, nobody can tell me anything about eating a piece of meat. So all you people trying to make me eat meat, go suck an egg. Because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And if you value your health, you would look into some of the things that I've been doing and see what works for you so that you can heal yourself, because we do have the ability to heal ourselves. So, you know, I'm going to also buy Queen Afua's book, The Sacred Woman, because she talks in there about how to heal yourself mentally, emotionally, physically. And there's an herb regimen in there that I understand that helps women heal their womb and heal themselves of fibroid tumors. And that's something that's rampant in the black community. So if you have tumors and the doctor's telling you that the only solution is to cut your lady parts out and you don't want to do it, then you got work to do. You've got work to do. You've got internal work to do, and you've got some real mental work to do to help yourself heal. And I also take herbs. I buy herbs from thehealthstore.com, Jehudi Mahatra. I love him. He's awesome. And his herbs are fantastic. I have several of his herbs. I've done his full body detox, and I'm going to do it again in probably about a month when the weather gets really warm. And I go 100% raw again, because right now I'm not 100% raw. I eat, you know, cooked beans and stuff, which I know Dr. Sebi does not condone that behavior. But, you know, it's hard to stick with some of these diets sometimes, because the food, getting access to some of the foods is very difficult. So I have to eat what I have access to, and beans in the wintertime is what I have access to. So yeah, leave questions below. If you want to do a response video, that's fine too. But I'd love to hear from some of you with your experiences healing your health problems, or even questions that you have for me about how to, you know, handle certain ailments that you have. And it's not medical advice. I just hope to point you in the right direction to help you find what works for you, especially if you don't want to take pharmaceuticals and you don't want your doctor cutting you up into pieces, as I do not. I refuse, you know. And when these tumors are completely gone, I will be shouting from the rooftops how I did it, and I will help other people do it as well, because that's really why I'm here, is to help other people to not have to go through some of the things that I've been through to get to this point. So that's it for me. Love you guys. Bye.